morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm Audrey Wiggins, and welcome to another webisode of Make Something Happen. I have the awesome privilege today to have Mr. Twon Billings in the studio with me. He's the president and CEO of Department of Collateral Damage. Now, Mr. Billings has also been written up as a hero in the Sync magazine, and he's been on the Hometown Hero show produced by none other than our own Wayne Dawson. So I'm excited to have you here today, and I look forward to our interview.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, Mr. Billings, some of the things that he does is an expert gang consultant, motivational speaker, runaway rate tracking, youth fugitive tracking, youth mediation, elder protection. He's program director of youth violent crime deterrent, intervention and prevention expert. He puts together custom youth programs. There's the ex-offender program design, and also it's a program called the Attitude Teen Adjustment Program. My goodness. Last one on the list, but probably the most challenging, I imagine. Okay, but Twon, you want to fill us in, give us a little detail, any background you want to share? I know I've just, read your programs here, but enlighten us a little bit.
Well, the Department of Collateral Damage deals with a lot of different unique subjects, such as juvenile delinquency issues, bullying, consulting work as far as going into police departments, consulting with them, meaning that, it can be trainings, martial arts trainings.
Okay.
We have rape programs to prevent, rape and domestic violence, where we teach on self-defense. We also, with the Attitude Teen Adjustment Program, that's more or less for the teenagers.
Okay.
And pretty much is lightweight speak for itself, but it pretty much same thing, keeps them in line and mentor those children into right ways of living.
Okay.
But you also have Rent-A-Dad. Rent-A-Dad is more hands-on.
Oh, wow.
Where it is for single moms that's having problems with their children that's heading in the wrong direction. So pretty much we come in as, a supportive system for the parent.
Okay.
And support the parent. So that's where everything pretty much falls all in play when you're talking about runaway tracking and things like that.
Okay. All right. I'll come to that heading. Okay. And how long has the business been going on?
It's been going on since, I would say, since 2007.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. So about 12 years then. 5 years. That's awesome. 2012 in my 12. Getting ahead of myself in math.
Right.
But that's your pinnacle point in being in business. So that most businesses, they have success or failure. It happens within the first 3 to 5 years. And I know you've been experiencing some awesome success and results in your programs. We talked the other day, so I'm excited to hear more about that. But we're going to take a break, and then we'll be right back with more with Mr. Twon Billings of the Department of Collateral Damage.
Blessings Music Fest and Brother Lou Acosta invite you to a comedy show and gospel program. Friday, August 3rd, a family comedy show with 6 hilarious comedians, including Mike Paramore, Patsy B, Jay Hendren, Keith Bender, Angel Isaac, and Mike Head. Also, a gospel song competition. And on Saturday, August 4th, an elegant evening of gospel with national recording artist the Neville Sisters, along with American Idol Scott Zabel, Pastor Pete Figueroa, Exodus Chapter 5, News Channel 5 Shay Harris, and the winners of the gospel song competition. Both shows at the Lorraine Palace Theater, only 25 minutes from downtown Cleveland. These shows will sell out. For tickets, go to blessingsmusicfest.com. For more information, call 440-670-7017. That's 440-670-7017. Friday, family comedy. Saturday, gospel with the Neville Sisters, August 3rd and 4th.
Did you know that your opinion matters? Did you know that your vote really counts? Well, it does, at least as soon as you apply this right. But what's a right anyway if you never use it? It's yours and nobody can take it from you, right? Wrong. By not having what you need in order to vote, you allow this right to be taken away, which is un-American, unjust, and unfair. Take a stand. Go to www.project5millionvoterid.com and place your mark in the history today.
Twon, when we left off, you gave us a little information. We started to talk about the Rent-A-Dad program. So I don't know if you want to elaborate a little bit more on that program, and let's go from there.
Really, that program is basically, like I said, for single moms that's having problems with their children that's heading in the wrong direction. Currently, there's a lot of mothers that's single out here that's trying to make ends meet, and they have children that's pretty much heading in the wrong direction. The streets is a very powerful tool for these moms, and it divert their children into another way of thinking. And pretty much what we do is come in and support the parent.
Okay.
You know, if the parent is trying to put bread and butter on the table, and you got the child that want to do what the child want to do, not going to school, cutting class.
Right.
You know, you say one thing back to them, they got 12 other things to say back to you. Not keeping their room clean. I mean, that can be very stressful for a mother. It can be very depressing. And when you have those type of things going on, a mother is looking for support. And currently the system don't offer that type of support.
Okay.
So as me being a former delinquent, you know, and how I used to be with my mom, although I did have fear for my mother. You know what I'm saying?
So you tried it when you could, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. But after a while, you know, what happens is that us boys got thicker skin. So, you know, after a while, the butt whoopings wear off, you know. So, you know, it comes to the point where the parent just, you wear them down. And I noticed that in my work. With a lot of parents, you know, after a while they try and do the best that they can, and after a while it just wears them down, and they just, you know, submit. You know, now you have some parents that's like, you know, rodeo. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna ride you all the way out. You know what I'm saying? But you know, sometimes, you know, it's dependent on the child. It's not really so much dependent on the parent because it depends on what type of child you have. Some of these parents, you know, I mean, some of these children just, they're very challenging. Yeah, they're very challenging. So what we do, we basically, like I said, we come in as an authority figure for one child, educator, and as well as a mentor. So we basically keep the child in line while the parent is being the parent. So.
All right, and primarily the program is in Cuyahoga County or how's far?
Right now we're working with East Cleveland.
And
right now we, you know, nicking out everything that needs to be done there because what the program is designed to do, as well as the special operations. Special operations is a task force of individuals that look, talk, and walk just like the children. You know, but it's supposed to be a layer up under the police department. Everything is supposed to be diversion to prevent people from getting criminal records. And although a lot of the children feel like, you know, their friends is in jail, they feel like they family members been in jail, they feel like this is the way, you know, when you have your friends telling you, oh man, come up in here, we wilding out, things like that, so they think that that's a badge of honor to be involved in gangs, be involved in delinquency and things like that. And what happens is that once that child get a first taste of being locked up, they think that's the way it is to the adult life. But then what happens is that once they keep going and going and going and stacking charges up on them, and then they mature, you know, after having a child or after to the point where they just say, okay, this is not where I want to go. Society hold this over your head for the rest of your life. There's no way out. So what we try and do is try to prevent that type of action from going on because obviously we ain't got enough thinkers in the state of Ohio to understand that more people are becoming criminalized and unemployable. So when you got more men and women that's walking around in society that's unemployable because of some bad choices that they made in their past, that what makes a collateral damage of the community. So if I had a child, you know, and I'm trying to take care of that child, how can I take care of that child if I can't get a job?
That's right. So, and then the vicious cycle just keeps going over and over again. Yeah, absolutely. Now you mentioned on the task force and as far as the collateral damage, there's some things that you said that be between the police department. There's some things that the company does with the police department.
Well, the operation is basically the individuals that work on the task force will be police officers. But they'll be working as juvenile intervention specialists. So they will not be out there, you know, running and gunning. Their operations specifically is to deter violence and to come in between it. So when you hear departments saying being proactive, proactive is actually knowing when it's going to happen and stopping it before it happens, not getting into it after the issues then happen. So say like, it's a rival gang coming into the city of East Cleveland.
Okay.
Our jobs is to prevent that from happening.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So when I say that to say, it's like you have to build relationships with these kids' parents. It's like normally like 5 or 6 kids that run the community that all the kids listen to that they all scared of.
Yeah.
So first you got to befriend the parent so you can get into the house to deal with that child.
Okay.
Because 9 times out of 10, if that child is disrespectful in the community, 9 times out of 10 it's disrespectful to the parent.
Yeah.
So normally the parents say, what I need to do. I sign them up right now. So when you got that privilege of that parent signing that child up, then guess what? They give us all access pass to the child.
That's right.
And it also give us access to the point where if the child is bringing in drugs, guns, any type of contraband in the house, it able us to be able to get into the house and remove those weapons and drugs.
Okay.
So our whole objective is not to criminalize the child, but to hold the child accountable.
Okay.
Now, as far as the predators that get these children, these drugs and these guns and things like that, then they have to, suffer the consequence. Because to me, I believe that, no man or woman should be adding on to the ignorance of our children.
That's right. That's right.
So that's the way I feel about it.
Okay. And which makes Twon Billings the expert?
Well, I lived the life. I mean,
Okay.
I was getting in trouble at the age of 12 years old. I was born here in Cleveland. I was raised in Los Angeles and Inglewood, California.
Okay.
And when I came to Cleveland, and stayed permanently in 1983.
Okay.
Where I came and I started the Crip gang here in Cleveland.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna stop right there. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, I want you to tell us more about that gang life, and coming from Inglewood to Cleveland, to a place like Cleveland, Ohio, and starting that career. Okay, we're going to be right back with Twon Billings.
Hi, I'm Dr. Howard Cohn, and I'm here to tell you about the key to alkalizing your body, and that's our 7.2 greens. This product is amazing. You'll never find anything else like it on the market. This thing has taken so much time to put together to get it exactly the way we want it so that you can literally eat it out of your hand, out of the container. Most people know that if they eat greens, they're going to be healthier. They start doing it, they do it for a day or two, they try wheatgrass or they try eating spinach or broccoli and they go, you know what? I can't do this. It tastes like I'm licking the bottom of my lawnmower. And they stop. They know it's good, but they stop and they don't do it. We've engineered these greens to taste amazing. I can't wait for you to try them. Our 7.2 greens are made with all organic ingredients, certified organic ingredients. Our cereal grasses, which are barley grass, oat grass, alfalfa, and wheatgrass, all organic. Our alkalizing vegetables of parsley, broccoli sprouts, spinach, kale, cabbage, carrot, and more, all organic. Our flavoring, which is apple and raspberry, organic. And even our Lohan berry, all natural sweetener. No algae, no soy fillers, no artificial flavors, no colors, no sweeteners. There is nothing on the market like this. I've tried literally hundreds of greens products, all a disappointment. I've had tons of patients say they can't do it. For the first time ever, we have a greens product that people will not only take, but they'll love. I can't wait for you to try.
And Twon, when you left off, you were about to tell us about your journey. I asked you what makes you the expert in crime prevention, gangs and different things like that, and working with the youth in the police department. And you begin to tell about a journey of coming to Cleveland from Inglewood, California.
Well, when I was back here in Cleveland in '83, I started the Crip gang here in Cleveland.
Okay.
And every time I got locked up, it empowered me. And by it empowering me, it was enabling me to recruit members in other different cities from all around Ohio.
Okay.
So, what happened is when the rap music really hit hard, and I would say approximately in the '86 era, the gangster rap, from that point on, it really exploded. And you know, I had the ability to have, you know, a lot of weapons and being involved in martial arts. I'm a 7-year Taekwondo champ.
Wow. Okay.
So, you know, it gave me a lot of ability to be able to strongly recruit out there.
Mhm.
And that's like when I conduct my speeches, I tell people that in order for you to be involved with a gang, you have to be disrespectful to your parent first.
Wow.
Once you become disrespectful to your parent, from that point on, society don't matter. You
Right.
know, and it not so
They
much.
have nothing coming.
Yeah, you know, it's really like it had to start at home, you know,
Yes.
and once it start there, then that's when, you know, you from that point on, you know, have no regards for anything. The unfortunate part about it is in 1991, my mother died of breast cancer. That's when I went inactive.
Okay.
I felt responsible for my mother's death because in 86 was my first juvenile bid. She came over with breast cancer. 88, she came up with cancer again and came back. I was locked up. In
Wow.
1991, it came, and I came in about a week before she died. And I just realized that, you know, this wasn't the life that I wanted to live. So, you know, I went in inactive, and later found out my, you know, little brother had got molested. And it, you know, before I really found out, some issues had happened and some individuals had got hurt in the process.
Okay.
And I ended up doing 13 years
Wow.
up in the penitentiary for it. And when I came home, before I came home, I started a program called Responsibility as a Man
Okay.
in the prison system. And I was you know, actually I had a 15 to 40 year sentence, and actually I got on my first parole. And that program grew to 5 prisons in Ohio and 3 in Canada.
Wow.
And when I came home, I found out the rest of my family had died off. I didn't realize, you know, I didn't know anything about it. And it was a choice that I made. I wanted to try to feel what it feel like to do good.
Okay.
I wasn't really a hardcore person, you know what I'm saying? I was just a person that was angry.
Okay.
I've been through a lot of stuff in my time, you know.
Would you say you were suicidal, you know, during all
Yeah,
those times?
I was very, you know, mentally sick. You know, I went through a lot of abuse at my time, and it was just real tragic, the things that I was going through and been through.
Yes.
And it really, my mother didn't understand or knew anything about what I was dealing with. But at the end of the day, you know, I had made a decision that I wanted to do the right thing when I came home.
Absolutely.
And from that point on, Deborah Lee from Channel 5
Oh, yeah.
actually was the one that put me on the journey as far as, you know, doing this motivational speaking and changing the lives of young people.
Okay.
And-
Well, how did they discover you? You started a program in the prisons,
Mhm.
and then you said it spread it, you know, to 5 other prisons. How did that really happen?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know.
It's just one of those.
Yeah, you know.
Were you
what-
talking to one-on-one with some people and the inmates, and somehow it just, you know, how did that? There's something key right there.
Well, what happened is that I created a RAM program based on 3 elements.
Okay.
3 elements is the way of life. And
While
this
you were
is
still in prison.
while I'm in prison.
that's-
And my
okay.
programs is all revolved around these
Okay.
issues. Responsibility, interpersonal communication, self-motivation.
Okay.
So depending on how self-motivated you are in life, depending on how you communicate with somebody, depending on how responsible you are, that's life. So I created my system around that. So a lot of guys respected me, and we started the RAM program. So it was an inmates teaching inmates. It wasn't
Okay.
no educated. You know,
Exactly. It was
you
nothing
know,
from the outside
yeah, it wasn't-
in. It was
yeah.
from the inside.
It wasn't,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm not dissing anybody with
Oh,
education and not like
absolutely
that,
not.
but the fact of the matter is, you know, this is the problem in our communities. We have so many people that feel like they go to school and they really think they understand the
Yes.
things, you know. You can't represent me if you don't go through what I've been through. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I mean, I have sat and listened to people give advice and say certain things that just didn't make sense, you know, and I think that when I put that program together, the warden said, well, you had people like, well, what is this guy? We educated and things like that.
Right.
But then the warden said, well, he lived here. Of course he's going to know what is needed here.
Yes.
And the program exploded. And Ohio Wardens and Superintendents Association in 2005 gave me an award.
Wow.
They called me back down, and from that point on, I became a contractor with the Department of Rehabilitation and Department of Youth Services. So I would go inside the prisons, the youth prisons and adult prisons, and conduct their mediations and motivational speeches. And the ATAP program was, started in one of their youth prisons. And it was a good system. So pretty much, I try and create systems that would have stopped me. So many of these kids is looking for an answer. They're looking for a way out. The only problem is we got the wrong people in place. I always tell somebody, in order to get to the Super Bowl, you got to have a Super Bowl caliber team around you. And first of all, people like to judge people. Like when we train police departments. First question I ask these officers is, how many of you have been accused of something that you couldn't prove that was untrue? All of them raised their hand.
All right.
How many of you have did things and you just never got caught? All of them raised their hand. So it's like what you have is the ones who have been caught and the ones who haven't been caught yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we all got something in our closet. There's no perfect man out here.
That's right.
And if you show me a perfect man, then you showing me Jesus Christ. I don't know nobody out here that look like Jesus Christ. So, one of the things about it, I think that, in order to when I build my team, my special operations team, I look at the 1997 Chicago Bulls. Everybody understood their roles. You know what I'm saying? If you look at basketball, you're looking at the Miami Heat today, and then you're looking at the Chicago Bulls. Miami Heat was stacked up, stacked up with superstars. What you have with the Chicago Bulls is you had that one superstar and everybody else understanding their roles. And that goes for anything in life. Whether it's business, whether it's dealing with children, you have to understand your role. If you don't understand, I would like to dunk a basketball like LeBron James and play like him. But the reality of that, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's not your lane.
It's not my lane. So, sometimes we have to stay in our lane. We have people out here giving advice and consulting works and writing these books and talking about reentry issues, and they can't talk about the psychological portion of what people like myself is going through. You see what I'm saying? They talking on the surface of it. I look at these people's resumes, and they call themselves experts. So if they're expert, then that must make me a czar.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, I just, and even for the prosecutor's office, they giving kids 5-year gang specifications, and nobody is trained in gangs. So I'm saying, well, how can you give somebody a gang specification if you're not personally trained yourself? So if I came up in there, I can destroy like 90% of their, if not greater, their cases. Because, this is the work that I do. I train Children and Family Services, Department of Health, Police Department. So, I'm proven I've been a Crip ever since 1978.
Wow.
How
old were you when you started?
I was 8 years old.
Your age away, but yeah.
I was 8 years old.
8 years old.
I was 8 years old. My family is Peru Bloods. So, as the saying said, I guess I had the best of both worlds. And the unfortunate part about it is that as today, I can tell any young person, that there's no reward in gang banging. The only thing you get is prestige for that moment. But at the end of the day, just like I tell them when I go talking to them, is that when you go up into a place and you see kids and you ask them, if I got a whole bunch of gray in my hair, and I'm coming in there, I'm old, I'm on a cane and everything, and I'm OG and this, that,
right.
I said, would you respect me if I'm still out here talking about I'm a gangbanger? Everywhere I have been, nope. Okay, so where's the reward of banging?
Exactly.
You
can't retire and
exactly.
and have the respect.
Exactly. It's no reward in banging. it's a phase you go through. That's all it is. It's a phase, you know.
And the kids understood that enough by saying they wouldn't respect you if you came in there, you know, an old man was being gay. It's like we should have outgrown that.
Exactly. That's exactly what they said. You know, so
saw that.
Exactly. I mean, you know, a lot of kids understand it, but it need to be people that understand the life to go in there. Now, I'm not, you know, the type of person that believe that everybody that claim to be involved in gangs to go in there and really work with children, because you really have to understand what you've been through. And what you're going through. You got to understand the mental health perspective. You got to understand and be able to break down things and making it understand. I can stand toe to toe with a psychiatrist. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we can, you know, I have been in college, they've been trying to recruit me, but like I told them, your piece of paper is good. But, you know, I've been through, you know, I got my PhD in criminology.
That's
you know what I'm saying? I got my PhD.
Hard Knocks University.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're going to talk more about them. We'll be right back on the other side of this message.
Thank you.
Now, with just a click of a button, you can invite people all around the world to come and watch your show. Stream live events, play back recorded events, or upload videos. Create multiple shows. Create fully customized playlists. Add events to announce playlists. Embed your shows and/or videos with or without chat and multiple websites.
This is your day to shine, your time to win. So raise your cup and drink.
Hii coffee ni nzuri sana, kwa hivyo tunatakikana kukunywa, alafu tunasaidia dunia yote, traendo los tesoros de la tierra a la gente del mundo.
Your time to win. Why do the same when you can go? Why do the same when you can go beyond?
We're back once more with Twon Billings, President and CEO of Department of Collateral Damage. And very interesting and inspiring story, and I hope that you'll have your young people tune in to the on-demand episodes and webisodes of this program. Now, Twon, you left off here, we were talking about you know, the RAM program and things like that. But I want to step you back for a moment, and I want to know, tell us, what was the breaking point?
Well, the breaking point was when I came from Lebanon Correctional Institution, which was one of the high-risk security camps, or prisons, should I say. And I got up to Mansfield. I found out that the rest of my family had died, and I didn't know nothing about it.
And these were the Bloods? They were family?
No.
Oh, just your regular family?
This was my regular family here in Cleveland.
Okay.
Because I had a small family here. Those family members down there was my cousins. You know, mainly on my father's side. And what happened is that when I got out of Mansfield, I found out that, you know, I went into depression. It was like my whole world was just spiraling. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know where I was at. You know what I mean? When I say that, you know, I went up to the chaplain's office, and the chaplain, you know, I told him what I had heard. So the chaplain went in my file, didn't see anything in my file. So he asked me the funeral homes that's in my area. So I told him, and it came to Mr. Wheels, Wheels Funeral Home. Mr. Wheels handled all their proceedings, and then I just never forget, he hung up the phone and he sat back in his chair, and I was sitting right there. I heard him give him my fax number, so I knew something had happened. I mean, the fax number to his office. And then next minute, you know, his machine got to booting up and and, you know, I seen the papers came through, and I just, you know, busted out crying. And I never, you know, cried like that in my life. And, you know, to see that family member still didn't have no clear deal as to how they died. I really still today didn't really go into, you know, trying to really find out a lot of stuff. But, you know, when I found out, you know, I was very depressed, and it was like I had a conversation with God and asked him, what was it that you wanted? Because I was the one that wanted to die. You know, you know, I wanted to die. You know, I had a plan, you know, take myself out. And when it actually came to you know, it was like he played a video for me. I mean, I did concert security work for national recording artists. I did everything that I wanted to do, you know, and I'm very persistent, consistent, has always been like that, even as a kid. If it was something I was determined to do, I'm going to do it, no matter what. And it was like when he played that video for me, I realized, I'm like, man, you was around a lot of national recording artists. You had to good life, but you just kept banging down the door asking for a criminal record.
Yes.
So from that point on, I started straightening out. And I had like 3 years to the parole board. And I got my status dropped and I went to Richland Correctional. From that point, I started noticing the different type of element of criminal, as you want to say it, coming in. The mentality of the young that was coming in, you know, guys, you know, be this, be that, you know, they wake up, don't wash their face, no polish whatsoever. So I'm like, you know, where did they get these cats from? You know what I'm saying? Because it didn't flood the, you know, the major prisons at that time. It didn't flood it yet. You know, this was the new generation getting ready to come in.
Wow.
So all of us old school guys was used to the old ways of doing things, the old man's feel, the old prison way. You know, so we looking like, you know, so I started taking a note of these guys. You know, like asking them like, why you ain't got your driver's license? What stopped you from getting your driver's license?
Wow.
So I started
you
interviewing.
Okay.
Right. So, you know, when I started doing that, I started building on the program. I wanted to name the program after my late mother, but the institution said that that wouldn't be able to happen. So I left Richland. I was only there for a year, and I went to Lake Erie.
Okay.
And I went to Lake Erie, and there was a woman assistant warden there, and she died of cancer herself.
Oh, okay.
She's a good sister. Sister had, boy, she laid out a speech when we first entered that camp. You know, she sold us at a prison. And I was ready to be a worker there, you know. So I'm like, you know, when I'm listening to her, you know, I was inspired. And from that point on, I started putting this program together, and I was taking the multimedia up in the prison. And the teacher was like, Antoine, what you over there doing? And then he looked at the computer and he seen me pitting things to place. And it was like, he pulled up his chair and he just loved it. From that point, started leaving his class alone. They said, put this here, and started helping me draft up the proposal.
Wow.
And from that point on, I went to Grafton, grassroots the program in Grafton. And they was like, you know, wonderful. But before all that had happened, I slipped this. What really was the term period is that I was looking at a video, and a little girl had leukemia. And her hair was gone. She was saying that the kids was teasing her because she had to wear wigs and stuff like that. So me and a few homeboys in the prison, you know, that was Bloods and Crips and Gangster Disciple and Vice Lords.
Wow.
You know, we all came together, you know, because I had a great relationship with them. And I told them, I said, you know, well, I'm getting ready to cut my hair, man, and try and, you know.
You're a leader.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I told them, and so they was like, man, you know, they down. So a lot of people get the perception that people that commit crimes is heartless. That's a lie. These guys want to give, but you don't reach out to ask them to help. Of course, you know, you will always look at them as savage beasts. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, the thing about it, everybody was willing to cut their hair, and it was a lot of us. Come to find out, the Department of Rehabilitation was like, well, no, you can't do that because, you know, this, that, and it came up with 8 million excuses.
Why you couldn't cut your hair?
Exactly. Well, not couldn't cut your hair, but why we couldn't cut our hair, bag it up, and send it out
to the girls.
Yeah, to the kids.
That's
you know what I'm saying? So they can make wigs.
That's right.
You know, it was like, you know, very disturbing that we wanted to give to these children that had leukemia. You know, I mean, even white guys was involved with this. So, you know, it was like, you know, from that point on, we put RAM together. We put a board together. We took American Idol. What my slogan was, I'm teaching them how to save lives instead of taking lives. So what I did is I brung the polished guys in. We had a board of directors, and everybody started flocking. So, you know, we brung in American Red Cross, Toastmasters. We taught guys CPR, AD, infantile CPR, you know, and like I told them, I said, you know, you guys need to learn how to be a man to your family, you know, to your children. If your children is out there choking and you don't teach them how to, I mean, or know how to get them circulated, then, you know, you lost your child because you could have took this few hour training, but you want to dunk basketballs and play cards. Map it up. You know, so you know we broke records up in there with that RAM program. I mean, it made the papers and everything. So you know that program became big, and you know that was, you know, like I said, you know, my breaking point. But it was just videos they were showing in there that was outdated, like 70s videos of drug programs. And it was just complete garbage, you know. And you know, the things that these people was coming in, guys would be sitting up there like, you know, because it's like you talking to us and you never experienced the things that we spend. These guys don't respond to that too easy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because you talking from the surface instead of talking about personal.
There's no heart there.
It's it's no.
There's nothing in the heart.
You got some people that's good at, you know, what they do and haven't experienced it, but they good at doing it.
Okay.
Everybody is not connected to do certain things like that.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
but you know, that's how everything changed around for me.
Okay, that's awesome. And we're going to hear more about what you're doing today and the impact of your past, you know, how that's impacting the present, and that you're doing a wonderful job and you're out there making a difference for other people. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Cyrus D. Adams with templabor.org. I want to thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you enjoy the things you see. We recommend and represent quality people looking for employment. We offer consultation, and we're dedicated to the reemployment of Americans and the building of unity and people working together, fulfilling their dreams and doing the right thing. Contact us, 216-355-7069. That's templabor.org. I hope that we can help you in the future. Thank you.
We're back now with Twon Billings. We're going to wrap up, Twon. It's been an awesome day spending with you, our conversation. I think on and off camera, we've been really connecting and learning a lot, and you've been teaching me, and I appreciate that. Give us some of your accomplishments over the years, what you've been able to accomplish since you've been out of prison and things you've done. And
Some of the key things that I have accomplished since I got out of prison in March of 2003. I have did 717 motivational speeches.
That's a lot of talking.
Yeah, that is a lot of chopping it. And it's mediations. I did numerous of them. I got I got it at home. How many mediations I have done? How many violence preventions I have done, which prevented people from killing other people.
That's awesome.
But my main thing that really, I wanted to also say, Audrey, is that for the brothers and sisters that's coming home from prison, that, live the life and want to try and straighten their lives out and try to find a way that can't find a way, one of the key things of reentry that I see that I have a problem with is that a lot of men is coming home and they coming home to a woman. They're not mainly going to their family. If they do go to their family, they're only going to be there for a minute, but they mainly going to go to a woman.
Okay.
I think reentry programming, if you want to have it, they need to teach men how to, deal with women. And I think for women, I think they need to understand what they're getting themselves into when they dating somebody with a background. If you date somebody with a background, you're dating somebody that's going to be inconsistent in life as always. It's not something that they is responsible for it. Their
Okay.
life is forever going to be inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
What that means is that, let's say they may get laid off, they may have a job that find out about their record and they may not tell everybody that they got criminal records.
Yes.
Because you gotta put in lots of applications. Lots, and when I say
Wow.
lots, you gotta put in lots
So you
of
gotta really be tenacious.
You gotta be
gotta hire.
very, very much out there.
Mhm.
And what happens, like when I came home, I used to walk the streets. And one particular time I remember that I really wanted to share
Mm-hmm.
is that I remember one day I was walking and I had these boots on. And when you walk in and it's raining outside,
Oh,
the
yes.
water get inside your shoe.
Mm-hmm.
And I was walking one day and the crease was cutting into my feet. And your feet become tender.
Mm-hmm.
And my feet was just bleeding outside my boot.
Wow.
And I remember I went to this man to try and get a job, and he said to me, I come way out there, my paper was wet and everything. He said to me, I'm sorry, I can't hire you
Wow.
because of your background.
Mm.
We can't hire offenders. And this was a telemarketing company.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, what am I going to steal, a phone cord? You know what I'm saying?
That's sad.
And those things is things that I really just want the women to know,
Mm-hmm.
that if you date somebody with a background, that this is what you're signing up for.
Okay.
And as far as the men that's coming home, I think that it need to be an understanding that when you communicate with the lady that you're with,
Mm-hmm.
that you need to point that out. And maybe that person ain't going to understand what the future gonna hold, but
Yes.
women ain't going to respect
Mm-hmm.
a man that can't get a job.
Mm-hmm.
It just come to a point where like baby,
He's old.
I've been holding you down and things like that. And as a man, he's gonna feel like his pride is it's bad enough the system is on him and he's
Mhm.
depressed and he tired of doors getting slammed in his face. It's hurting him emotionally, mentally, spiritually,
Yes.
and now he's being attacked by somebody that's supposed to be his supportive system.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is that breeds in domestic violence, it
Mhm.
breeds in verbal violence, it breeds those type of things. So I just really wanted to make that clear,
Okay.
But as far as the accomplishments, I think that going around training police departments, agencies, and
Mm-hmm.
having a good time and doing these things and educating people as far as these type of things, I think it's been a real fun journey.
Well, Twon, that's awesome. Thank you again so much for coming by and giving us your story and tell us what you're doing, your accomplishments, and as far as getting in touch with you with the organization, how can one do that?
The number is 216-240-0135. Again, that number is 216-240-0135.
Okay, is your website?
We haven't got one yet. Yeah,
Okay,
we're in
working
the
on
process. Yeah, we're in the process. We got a one-pager, but we get ready to build one up there.
Okay, well, we'll make sure we get that information then to our viewers. Okay, thanks again, and then you, between now and the next time you go out and make something positive happen in your world, and hopefully you'll take away some of the things that you learned today, share them with somebody else, internalize, and let's make a positive difference in our country.